shine, arrangers and keys. It's your time to fly. Style, sounds, accessories too. We're jamming it live, all for you. Keyboard Live, yeah, feel the groove, come alive. Keyboard Live, your sound, your vibe, your ride. Keyboard Live, yeah, feel the groove, come alive. Keyboard Live, your sound, your vibe, your ride. Certain rates that move the new groove. How can I do? Keep the world live, you. Tell me how, just you see the rule. We're jamming it live, all for you. Keyboard Live, yeah, feel the groove, come alive. Keyboard Live, your sound, your vibe, your ride. Keyboard Live, yeah, feel the groove, come alive. Keyboard Live, your sound, your vibe, your ride.
Good afternoon.
Hi, everybody.
I hope you're all well. Welcome to Keyboard Live.
Yep.
Of course, my name is Adam from Scan.
And I'm Paul from somewhere.
So yeah, I hope you're all you got your air conditioning on and your fans, because it's a hot one today. Well, it is here in this new studio today.
Sauna.
In the
It
in
is a
Paul's
sauna.
So thanks for everybody for joining in. Got lots to talk about today.
Yeah, we've got a lot of features. We're going to be featuring Yamaha. We're going to be featuring Korg. We're going to be featuring Ketron. We've got all the latest news. We've got some nice little videos for you to watch as well.
I found a product as well this week. So
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that to you that I think might appeal to a lot of you. So I had a route round at Scan this week, and I found a nice product that I think we should all talk about. So
Yeah,
I've got that.
and we'll be talking about that very shortly.
Indeed.
We've also got a very special video that's been sent to us by one of our viewers. Now, a few weeks ago, we did encourage people if you want to send in. So we're just going to give you a sort of taster.
Yeah.
Just a little taster of that. So we've got that to come. Oh, by the way, I better mention that. Look, I've reached that age. I've even got to have a little tag now to find my glasses.
I've got my glasses in my bag. I have.
Yeah, but you're
glasses.
too vain to wear yours.
Yeah, true. I'm just blind. I can't. But one thing, I might be blind, but we can see all the comments today.
Yeah.
So it's great. As I said, on many of these previous episodes that we've done of Keyboard Live, for those of you that are new, I can see a few new names in the chat, which is great to see. We encourage. This is your show. So we are encouraged by the comments that you've got coming in. If there's anything you'd like us to feature on upcoming episodes of Keyboard Live, please get in touch on the comments.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple of things. This is a sort of relaunch of Keyboard Live, only because there is some structural changes going on at Scan. So we've sort of moved it here to see how it works. You may notice down in I'm looking at the bottom right-hand corner. I hope that's it. I don't know whether we're seeing it in reverse or not.
There.
Yeah, so that's the left-hand corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. We see everything in reverse here. But down in the bottom corner, you may see a little 40 years Scan. So it's happy birthday to Scan. This year they are celebrating
40 years.
40 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
40 years.
It's catching up to me.
So yeah, and from time to time, we'll put our trusty little QR code up. That QR code, you'll see various QR codes as we go through the show today. But whenever we're on this set and you see that QR code, that is the Keyboard Live store link. So everything we've ever talked about on Keyboard Live is in that store. And I will just repeat, I don't want to sound like a stuck record, but that's where my involvement with Scan comes in, because anything purchased through the Scan Keyboard Live store, I get a little commission out of it, but then I become part of your support on that product.
Now, if you do happen to click that link and you see all the products that, as Paul mentioned, that we've talked about on Keyboard Live, and you think, oh, well, I actually wanted to buy a webcam, or I actually wanted to buy a different keyboard or a different piano as an example. Don't worry. What you can then see at the top of there is a search bar, and then you can view everything from Scan. So it's not just...
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is for those of you that are new to Scan as a retailer, they sell everything. Everything from a Gibson Les Paul guitar right through to a custom-built F1 simulator. So we didn't want to kind of confuse people with thousands of products. We just thought we'd make it nice and simple and have a dedicated Keyboard Live site shop where you can actually get straight to the products that we've ever featured in any of our Keyboard Live episodes.
Yeah. And just before we go on to the first bit of the show, I did mention this in the little preview that we did. I don't think either of us make any apologies. This show has to be a little bit commercial. Scan is a business at the end of the day. Keyboard World is a business, and to continue to bring, I'd like to think, high quality free content to you on a regular basis. Obviously, somewhere along the line, we have to do some business. So nobody is forced to go and buy anything as a result of watching this show. But as I said, we've had a couple of comments say, oh, yeah, the Keyboard Live show's a bit commercial. Well, yes, it is. But it's also full of interesting information and a lot of music and demos as well.
And the thing that we've mentioned before is that it allows us to introduce products that have been introduced to us, whether it be Tom or whether it be people at Scan. One of the products I'm going to mention today was one of the products that someone said, oh, you should talk about this, and I'd never seen it before. So again, it's allowing us to pass on that knowledge in a way, because, and I've said this before, and I said it again at the Blackpool Festival that I was at the other week, is what you find at keyboard festivals, if we're doing a presentation on, say, Ketron, people that own a Genos wouldn't turn up to it.
Yes. Yeah.
But I play a Genos, I play a Korg, I play a Ketron, I play a Bohm, I play all the products that we sell at Scan. So whenever we talk about a product, if that feature exists on other products, we will always say, it's also available on Genos, it's also available on an SX920 or whatever it might be. So even if you don't own the product that we're talking about, definitely stay on the line, stay tuned, because you will learn something.
And I think the final thing to do with that is that we're also aware that it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a music shop locally always. It's sad, none of us are happy about that, but we're trying to bring a little bit of Scan into your living room. That's what we're trying to do, but keep it entertaining at the same time. So with that in mind, I'm going to disappear. I'm actually going to lie on the floor. I'm going to tell them the truth.
It's a bit different here, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's very intimate, isn't it?
It is, and it's roasting. So let's crack on with the show.
But I'm going to do the controls. Adam's just going to get some of the commercial bit out the way and just tell you about a few really special deals that are on at Scan currently. Because you've got some news about a PA5X, and I know you've got some... piano. Now, I know this is a keyboard show, but we always include pianos because I know a lot of you have actually got pianos as well.
Indeed.
So I'm going to leave Adam, if I can actually get off this bench.
I'll let you lie on the floor, and I'll move up.
Yeah.
There we go. So Paul's now crouching down on the floor. There we go. So, just a few things that I'm going to click that link. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scan that link that's on the screen. So just bear with. There we go, and I'll click to it and I'll go to the screen. So just to tell you about some offers that we've got at Scan, that new things that I've put into that site shop if you wanted to check them out. So the first thing is, if anybody's thinking of purchasing a Korg, because obviously we talk about Korg PA5X, we're still obviously the cheapest price in the country anyway on Korg, but we've also got some refurbished stock, or B stock, or whatever you want to call it. Basically what that means is Korg give us the opportunity to buy products that have been, I don't know, opened for photography, or for example, if we do a session on Keyboard Live where we use a keyboard, we'll rebox it and then we'll resell it or whatever. But I've actually got a couple, I think I've got two Korg PA5X 88s, really, really cheap. So check those out. They're actually priced at $2,899. I don't think I've ever seen a PA5X 88 that cheap. So I thought I'd include that in the offer for this week. We've also got PA700s in red. So we've managed to get some more of those because those have gone really well. So they're still on the website. They're not. Sorry, just to. I've seen a comment there from Wayne. They're not pre-loved. They're not second-hand. These are still new. They still have a full warranty. You can still register them brand new, and you still get a 5-year warranty if you register with Korg in the UK. So it's definitely worth checking that out. We've still, as I mentioned, we've got PA700s in red, an exclusive keyboard to scan available nowhere else in the UK. So that is a product that we've bought heavily into at Scan. And don't forget, if you do buy it from the link that you can see on your screen there, your QR code, any PA700s that you buy in red, you get some free software. So if you contact us here at Scan, we can supply you with some free Paul Carman PA700 software that costs hundreds, I believe, of pounds. So you get £1,000. Well, it wasn't that much, but you get that free, of course, with the PA700. And now we've got more. I do think it's something that we should revisit. We should maybe get another PA700 out, see what you get, what this free software is, etc., because it's damn fine. It's really good. So, is it graphics time? So, pianos. I want to talk about a couple of pianos. I've been rooting around at Scan, and I want to talk a little bit about some Clavinovas that we've got on offer. It's again, it's exclusive to us. We've only got 2 models left. We've got the CLP 745. I've only got 1 of these available. It's still brand new in a box. This is in dark walnut. Look at this. I tell you what, graphics everywhere. So you can see it's currently down to $15.99. There is only 1 available, brand new in a box. It's vastly reduced. So cheap, in fact, it's less than what we paid for it. Why, you might add, is because obviously we're now investing all into the brand new range of Clavinova, which is now the 800 series. But the 745 is very, very cheap. So it's definitely worth considering that. And I've also got... Look at this graphic. I like it. The Keith's saying it looks very professional.
Yes.
It looks very professional, but it's not being presented very professionally. So there we go. So we've it says last one, but I do think I've got 2 of these. But anyway, by the by, grab them while you can. This is a polished finish, so historically more expensive. Again, a 745 in polyester in ebony. Again, wooden keys, CFX and Bosendorfer samples, virtual resonance modelling, as you can see there from the very professional graphics that's Paul's put. Wayne, can you ship to the USA? Unfortunately, not at the moment. If you are interested in various products, particularly Ketron, please do get in touch with us because we do supply Ketron to America, so we can always put you in touch with the distributor over in the US who can help you with your purchase. But at the moment, we don't, unfortunately. So anyway, that's my little bit over just to talk to you about some things that I found at Scan this week that I thought we need to mention those on Keyboard Live because they are amazing. So I'm moving on now onto the Genos 2, again, which we are the cheapest price in the UK on Genos 2, so check that out. We've got about 5 or 6 of those left to purchase. I like the little... I like this that you've done there, Paul. Keyboard World logo. It's not a sticker, it's like a little... Look at that, very professional. Tell you what, Paul's now crawling out. Open that door, it's roasting in here. So what I wanted to talk about with Genos 2 is something that I touched on when we was at Blackpool. So obviously I was over at the Blackpool Festival and doing some sessions and playing and everything and selling, of course, like we do every year over at the Blackpool Keyboard Show. But I did a session and someone said, oh, that were right good. That was really good. So I thought what I should do is do a streamlined, condensed version of that. And there's nothing fancy. There's no software. I'm playing it out the box. And I just want to talk about the Genos. And it does apply to the Korg as well, because they have their own version of it. In fact, I'm looking at the PA5X at the moment, which Paul's going to feature in his session. But I want to just look at sounds. I want to talk about sounds and how we use them. So over the many years of having owned Yamaha products, as I'm sure many of you have done, whenever we go into the screen where we can see all the different sounds, so for example, we're in the piano screen at the moment, and you can see we've got the concert grand. I should have a sustain pedal. I do. So there's my piano. You can see it's got above where it says CFX Concert Grand. That's, of course, the name of the sound. But you've got this bit of text above it, Super Articulation. And over the years of playing Yamaha, going right back to PSR 8000, we had many different words. We had cool sounds. We had live sounds. We've had sweet sounds. And I just want to talk about what that actually means and how that can help you when you're selecting a sound and you're physically playing. So many years ago, cast your mind back to the PSR 8000, they had sweet voices, and they were kind of sounds like, I remember sweet clarinet, sweet trumpet. They were sounds that had just been recorded that little bit longer, if you will, in the studio, and when you kind of held the note down, it gave like a natural vibrato at the end. It's a fabulous way of recording the instruments, and it gave a lot more realism. As we move through to the PSR 9000, we added cool voices and live voices. This used the same technique, but for electronic instruments or acoustic instruments. As then we moved on to Tyros, we started seeing super articulation, hence S-Art. And what is it? And what does it do? Well, basically, the way I can try and help diagnose what it does is by looking at some acoustic instruments. Now, I'm not going to pick a sound. I'm actually going to pick a style. And I'm going to go into jazz. And I'm going to go into acoustic jazz. And I'm going to go into one-touch setting number 2. So this is something that you can all do at home. If you want a Genos 2, of course. And this brings up Super Articulation 2 clarinet. So the first thing we want to do, and something that my teacher always said to me, is imagine that you are that clarinet player. Yeah? So the first thing, I'll never forget, someone coming up to me on PSR 8000 demonstrating the brand new sweet clarinet sound and said, sounds rubbish, that PSR 8000. Look at this. That doesn't sound like a clarinet. What do you call that? A clarinet? Doesn't sound anything like it. Of course, it's playing well out of octave. So it doesn't sound right. You're not thinking like a clarinet player would do. So let's just listen to this sound. If I play a few notes, you can hear the clarinet sound. Now, of course, with super articulation, you've got super articulation buttons where you can do different things and make it do different noises, etc., etc. But I'm going to come to that in a minute. Let's forget that for now. Let's just listen to this sound. And if I play harder, if I play softer, of course the sample will change. But something else that you may not know is if you play legato, in other words join the notes together, if you play staccato, so individual sort of fast repeated notes, or if you do things like octave jumps played a legato, the sound knows what you're trying to do. So it will try and imagine what would a clarinet player do in that instance. So for example, if I play legato, it plays all those notes in one breath. Imagine you're a clarinet player, you blow through the phrase, you don't blow every single individual note because you probably go blue and fall over. So it thinks about what a clarinet player would do. If you play staccato, you can now hear the clarinet player is playing every single individual note in a different breath, thus giving a different sound. When it gets really clever is if you start jumping notes and you get what's known as a grace note. So I'll try and make it do it. Can you hear that? It's going like... Again, it just shows how clever this keyboard is. If I then do an octave jump, it will do a really good glissando up to that top note that I played there. Again, it's thinking about what would a clarinet player do. So you don't really have to do a lot. The sound design in these instruments now are so clever. But what you've also got, and these featured first on the Tyros range of instruments, is you've got super articulation buttons. Now, depending on how your keyboard is set up at home, yours might not be set up like mine. I don't know how it is out the box, because obviously I'm using Paul's at the moment, and Paul's was different. But chances are Paul's had them set up differently. But to check, it's really, really straightforward. We simply press direct access, and then one of the buttons, so I'll press number 2, and it'll jump to a screen. And this screen will tell me how the buttons are set up. So you can see the articulation 2 is highlighted at the moment, which means whenever I press number 2, it will do the super articulation 2 effect, and so on and so on. Same for 3 and 1, and etc, etc. So basically, what do these buttons do? So if you can imagine now, the sample of the sound, let's call it like a little block, if you can imagine it as a block. Let's break that block into 3 elements, okay? We'll call it, the first bit of the sound is when you first touch the key, we'll call that the head. Then we've got the main bit of the sound, we'll call that the body. And then the bit when you release the note, we'll call that the tail. Yeah? So basically, when you play it, it will automatically do all those things for you. But in some instances, you might want to force it to change what those do. So for example, if I press button number 1, and I've not touched the key, you can see it's flashing, that's going to force the head of that sample to change. You got an ever so slight little bit of a glide up to the sound. Number 2, this is going to do the same thing, but it's going to be a bit more obvious this time. Number 3, it'll do the same thing again, but make it even more obvious this time. Or less obvious in that case. So you can see what I'm doing is, live, I'm managing to manipulate the sound. Again, you don't need to do this, but you can if you want to. Now, the other thing is as well, is you can also use these super articulations whilst you're playing. So if I hold the note this time and press number 1, it will bend off the note. Much the same, opposite as what we did before. Press and hold the note again. Press number 2 this time. It doesn't fall away. So you can see I'm managing to manipulate the sound live. So let's put that into context. So, yeah, so you get the idea. So you can use that super articulation buttons if you wanted to. So let's just look at a couple more sounds, and then we'll move on to Paul. Can you get the same info on PA5X? Yes, you can. It's very similar. You've got they're called assignable switches on the PA5X, so you can generally get. Again, it's personal preference. Are they better? Are they worse? That's a decision that you'll need to make. But what I will say is, you've got to think. Whatever keyboard you buy, whatever keyboard you own, whatever keyboard or piano you're thinking of purchasing in the future, remember one thing. Think like the instrument that you're using. Let's do a different one now. So let's go for guitar. So if I went to nylon guitar. So if we go to this time, it'll only allow me to play 2 buttons. So something's changed. 3 is no longer lit up. So you can't do anything. Let's see what they do. So, well, I know what they do. They do this. It gives different sort of sound effects, if you will, for the guitar. Am I going to use them? Probably not, because it's too far away. if I wanted to use that setting when I'm playing some fast Spanish guitar or whatever I'm doing, I would probably assign that to a foot switch. The way you do that, direct access, press your pedal, the same screen will open up and change your foot pedal to be Super Articulation 1. So it's really straightforward. But let's listen to the sound, because let's try and think like a guitarist. I'll turn the chords off without. So if I play single notes, just like Adam told me to do with the clarinet, what you're getting this time is you're getting fret noise. So when I'm changing between the notes, you can get this little squeak as if the guitarist, because I'm playing staccato, it's like I'm playing individual notes, so you're hearing that noise of me moving my fingers up and down the strings. If I do legato, you don't get that noise, because that wouldn't happen in it if you were playing a real guitar. Let's try and do some grace notes like we had on the clarinet. Of course you can't. Can you do that? I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, there we go. It happened then. Now the reason it did that is because I'm playing an interval of like a fourth. Now if you were doing that on a guitar, of course, there's no point playing that on a separate string. Naturally, as a guitarist, you would move your finger up the fretboard, or you would simply play the first note and then what they call a hammer on. You would simply put your finger. You wouldn't need to pluck again. You just put your finger on, and it would create this sound. Yeah, I'm moving. Can you see that on the camera? I'm moving my fingers up the fretboard. Try a different one. Again, I'm just literally playing it, but thinking how that player would play those sounds. Let's do one more. I'll rescue Paul from off the floor. I'll do two more, actually. We're going to start with classical flute. Again, now you can see the articulation buttons have lit up again. So let's have a listen. Play legato. Beautiful sound. Articulation this time. Slow glide up to the note. A bigger glide up to the note. Ooh. Yeah, it's giving me these different articulations of sounds that you would get when playing a flute. My favourite one, which I've discovered this very afternoon, is piccolo. Again, it's a great sound. Sound number one does a pitch, and if you press the note and press it, it'll do a pitch off the note. Number two, if I press it, press the note, it does this. And I thought, where have I heard that sound before? And it's the intro to Oh What a Beautiful Morning from Oklahoma, where you get this. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. Oh, a Tom and Jerry cartoon, yeah? Wonderful sound. But just go through we talk so much about you buy a new instrument. What do we do? We immediately want it to sound like the old one. We're all guilty of it. Literally, play the sounds slowly. And I've said this if you check out my, I've done a video on Scan Keyboards, the channel that you're on now. Go into the Korg PA5X. I've done one all about keyboard sets. It's exactly the same. The first thing we do when we get out our instrument is we should just play very slowly through the sounds, because it will inspire you to play new things. Like, I know I'm going to do that Oh What a Beautiful Morning now, because that sound is brilliant. I also love the guitar sound that we showed earlier. That clarinet flute one that we had. You know, I'm going to try Baby Elephant Walk now. Because of that, it's made me think, I'm going to now learn that. Peter and the Wolf theme, a great one there, Sue, great idea. It'd be fantastic for that. So go through the instrument, play the sounds. If the buttons light up, just press them, see what they do. You can't break it, you can't damage it. Bassoon, I'm doing one, I've never done this one before. Another Peter and the Wolf sound there, Sue. Great. And number 3. It's a really muted sound. Yeah? So I just wanted to just kind of do a quick sort of 15-minute session, condensed, because this original session was well over an hour. So maybe this is something that we can and again, this is great. People are coming up with ideas now. This is what a keyboard should do. It should inspire you to learn new things. You're saying Jethro Tull, you know, we've said Peter and the Wolf. Thank you for the nice comment there, Keith, about John Williams. But this is giving you these, just from me playing 2 or 3 sounds, it's giving you inspiration, and that is ultimately what a keyboard should do. You can get up off the floor now, Paul.
Oh, look at that.
He wasn't there all the time, don't worry.
I'll come and rejoin you.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. I enjoyed that.
Good.
And it's true, you know, we're all guilty of playing a piece of music and sticking with it the same way every single time we play it, instead of actually stopping and saying, hang on, I've mastered this tune. What else can I do with it now? What else is the keyboard giving me that I can use to enhance that?
Yeah, and you'll find it as you play it all the time. Whatever, don't forget that Yamaha, and we've said this on many a stream before now. Yamaha really do, you know, whenever you buy a Genos or an SX920 or an SX720 Plus, the first thing you should do, go through the styles, but play the one-touch settings. People have often said to me, if my keyboard, my PA5X was in Manchester and I'm stuck here in Leicester, and someone rang me this evening and said, Adam, we're stuck, can you come and do a concert for us? My PA5X with all my settings on it is in Manchester. I'd say to Paul, can I borrow your Genos? Because you can literally pick a style, each of the 4 one-touch settings. I don't even have to know what they are, because I know the person or the persons that have done those registrations. And it's the same, I would say, with Bohm. We've mentioned Bohm before.
Yeah.
You know, Bohm come with a lot of preset registrations in their instruments. These have not just been thrown together. You know, someone has sat there and painstakingly gone through, right, if I pick this style, what's someone going to play with it? Chances are I've got a Shadows type style. They're going to play Shadows. So let's get the best guitar sound we can do. Let's layer it. Let's make the Super Articulation button, change it to a mute sound, because that's what Hank Marvin is known for. Someone has spent that time, and it's taken months and months of work to make these instruments sound incredible.
And we're not here to be, or to voice an opinion as to which keyboard is better than the others.
No.
We're here to show them. But without a shadow of a doubt, and I've never hid this fact even in my own webinars, the company that stands out streets above anybody else in the single keyboard world is Yamaha for their one-touch settings. In other words, how playable is it when you get it out of the box? Because as a company, they use a dedicated team of people to put those sounds in, and not just from one country. So where you've got styles, Latin American styles, they will use guys, for example, in Brazil and places like that, who know that type of music inside out. And that's why they are so good.
Yeah, someone's asked a question there. How can I create a sliding effect up or down with a bass sound on my 5X? Is there a specific articulation for this effect? No, there isn't. But the way I would do it personally is pick your bass sound, go into the mixer page, and set your pitch bend. Rather than pitch bending 2 notes, change it to 12. Because I've done that when playing some like Klaus Wunderlich type organ stuff, where if you're playing and you're doing like a fast samba or something, and you're playing like, and you want it to jump the octave, you can use the pitch bend wheel, and it'll do a really good bend up to that note. And then obviously you can measure the speed with how fast or slow you touch the wheel. There's probably other ways, but that's just how I would do it straight away.
There's a comment just come in there. The gentleman plays more piano and synthesizer, but as we've said in the past, actually a lot of the technology that's in this is also in the montage.
Absolutely.
A lot of technology that's in the Korg Kronos is also in the PA5X. So the gap between these high-end professional workstations, and if you notice, they're now being called Arranger workstations for a reason, is because these companies are actually merging this technology together. Because once they've created a sound specifically for a montage, if it's such a good sound and they can use that same sample in other instruments, they will do.
Yeah, and you often forget is back in the olden days, you used to have different teams for different categories of products. So you'd have, you know, if we look at Yamaha, for example, their Electone division was their cream of the crop, if you will. Then you had a keyboard division, and then you had a piano division. They had their own teams that would make the sounds.
Yep.
And a lot of instances now, they're the same teams.
Yep.
So you will often find that, you know, the Italian grand piano, for example, that's on Kronos, it's actually on the 5X as well. You know, similarly, like you said there, a lot of the DX sounds and a lot of the sounds that you see on Genos are actually on montage as well.
Yeah.
But in one instance, I would say, is that a lot of this super articulation technology, you know, is the sounds are, you can almost get workstation type sounds on a Genos because of all that extra programming that's been done that you don't have to do. Like I said, just play it like I did before and learn about, think, how would the guitarist play, how would the clarinet player play, whatever, you will get first class sounds.
Yeah. Now, we're going to move on.
Do I have to lie on the floor?
No, because we're going to do
we're doing
your product.
We're doing
now.
the new product.
Right, so we're always on the lookout for little things. Obviously, we've introduced you to the FIO headphones. We've introduced you to the Adam Audio monitor speakers. And we were talking the other day, a lot of our customers now have more than one keyboard.
Yeah, well, or a keyboard and a module.
Or a keyboard, module, or keyboard, piano, or they've got a couple of keyboards and they still want to use a microphone.
Or what they do is they have 2 different products, but when they buy the Adam Audio speakers, they go, oh, I bought them for my Genos, but oh God, they sound so good through my PA5X as well that I have the speaker bar on. Is there a way?
Now, there is a way, even without this product we're going to show you, but it's a bit of a faff, because if you've got, say, a Genos and a 5X, for example, and you've got the Adam Audio, and you want to plug a microphone through as well, you could say, well, hang on, I'll plug the Genos through the PA5X, and then output the PA5X into the Adam Audio, but you've got to control the input of the Genos going into the 5X, or you could do it in reverse, and then it's, well, which keyboard am I going to plug the mic in? And I know these things are brilliant, but you've still got to go into menus to set things up.
Yeah.
Now, when I used to go out gigging with 2 keyboards and a microphone, I would not personally, unless you need to use the harmonizer, I wouldn't personally plug the microphone through the keyboard, because it's one less thing I have to worry about programming on the keyboard. I used to plug, and look, let's come to it. We've got a mixer.
Look at that, it's right over my face.
I know,
Paul.
but if you move over a bit, keep going. You're going out of shot that way. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. I can take the picture out.
No, it's okay.
No, we can take the picture out for a second.
Let me tell you the story.
Yeah.
So I was at Scan this week, and I, you know, as various times throughout the week, you know, I'm what they call at Scan. I'm a specialist, so I don't work in sales. per se. I obviously speak to many of you at the shows, and obviously we've dealt with each other for many years. But I look after a division, so I look after what products come in, I look after the pricing of the products, I look after, what would work well with this product, etc., etc. Now at Scan, we have many of those. We've met Tom, of course, which looks after headphones, and he looks after sort of professional audio in terms of monitoring and things like that. That's why we were introduced to the Adam Audio, and it's great to see lots of Adam Audio love going on in the chat, which is great to see. But we also have a PA specialist, Andy. So I'll give him a shout, because I'd love to get Andy on, because when I use the Bohm, and you've seen us at the shows, etc. now, we use various PA systems, and I think that's something that Andy should come on to the show and do a bit of a session on. But I said to him, Andy, what have you got that's great? And he said, oh, you want to mention this? And I said, HH, isn't that the brand? And he went, yeah, I know what you're going to say. That's the brand that used to be around in the 70s. They used to do the PA speakers, and they used to have the power amps.
Every working men's club I went into had a HH speaker system, these big long column speakers.
That's right, with the green. He used to glow up green, he said to me.
And I think we're all right to say, because we're talking about the evolution of the company now, but they weren't great.
No, absolutely. So I know the history, because I did ask Andy, and he said they were taken over by a company called Headstock Distribution in the UK, and they also distribute brands. They used to distribute Ibanez's guitars. They do Laney amplification. So if you remember Laney guitar amps, British made, of course, it's the same team. So what you're getting here is a product that's designed in the UK, along like the Laney amps, generally by the same team. It's a great introduction to mixers. Why Andy said I recommend this one is you've actually got lots of stereo channels, because we was always taught, plug the left into channel 1, plug the right hand channel into number 2, and then pan 1 left and pan 1 right, all the old. But you don't need to do that with this mixer. You can literally plug 2 inputs into channel 1 from your Genos, 2 inputs into channel 2 from your EVM or whatever you've got, and then literally use the volume to do it. So basically, it's a great entry-level mixer with effects, with a 3-band EQ, and you've got 8 channels.
Yeah, and the beauty about a mixer, and I've talked about this with instruments before.
Spin it in if you want now.
Yeah.
Spin it in. Cover my face. There it is.
Oh, that's better.
So you can see there where you've got your channels.
Yeah.
5 of them are you've got your twin inputs for each one, where you can plug in stereo, which is great.
Yeah. And you've got tactile controls for adjusting volume. You've got EQ on there. You've got 3-band EQ on there. You've got some great digital effects. So you can plug your mic into one of those channels. I can't speak for this mixer because I haven't tried it yet.
I was going to bring one.
Or should I say I haven't bought one yet?
No, he hasn't bought one yet. I was going to bring one, but so we had one at the store, and I don't think we had stock in, and it was going to come in, and then it hasn't come, and then on my way here I found out that they have come, so we do now have stock. Yeah. But what I thought would be quite nice is maybe next month we can bring one, and you can see the physical size of it, etc., etc. But I just thought, wow, it's a great 8-channel mixer for that price. And it's a brand that we all know. It's not made in the UK, but of course it's designed in the UK. And he was raving about it. So I thought, why not pass on that knowledge to people? So
anybody who doesn't appreciate what we're talking about, you would let's say you had that setup of the Genos and you've got an EVM module. Mm-hmm. What you would do is take the outputs on your Genos into a set of stereo channels in the mixer. You would do exactly the same with the EVM. You don't have to plug the EVM through the Genos now.
No.
You go into a separate stereo channel, then you would plug your mic into another channel. So you can balance all 3 things up.
Yeah.
What I was about to say was, with the microphone, most mixers allow you to put a foot switch in, which allows you to switch reverb on and off quickly, or the effects on and off. And that's got digital effects, so it won't just have reverb, it'll have things like delays and things like that. All the things a singer would want, and they're going to be obviously digital effects these days. But then if you need to talk to an audience, normally you can just press a foot switch or a button on the mixer, like you do with the talk button on Genos. But I just find the less I have to go into menus to alter things, and of course you can alter the tone of your voice using the EQ on the mixer without,
absolutely.
again, and this isn't me criticising the keyboards, because they're fantastic to do all this in one unit. But if you're live on a stage, or even if you're playing at home, it's a bit of a faff to have to go into menu, into the mic section, and alter the EQ, because you've got to press it and then press the dial. It's much easier on a mixer. So £219, even if you've only got one keyboard and a microphone going into some speakers, you can boost the signal. When you go into a recording studio, you wouldn't sort of take a Genos 2 and the guy would just say, oh yeah, plug it straight into my computer. You would always go via a mixing desk, because they need to be able to control the signal.
Yeah. I mean, to put it bluntly, for me, when I gig with my PA5X, I just plug my mic into the PA5X. But the problem is if I'm playing and I finish my song and then I need to then switch on my mic or turn the reverb off my mic, I'm then going to a different set of screens in the sort of audio section of the keyboard. So I'm constantly flicking screens. Whereas if I had a mixer, I'd just go whoop, down, up, and my mic's on. Right, I'm going on to the next sound, turn the volume off, and then away I go. Yeah. Just some great comments there about people who are using mixers already. Karn, I have answered your comment. I did answer it about 5 minutes ago, so just rewind the video and you can see how you can use a sliding effect for the bass sound on your 5X. Some Crewmar love in the chat. Yeah, Crewmar is the sort of Hammond clone, that's right. We haven't featured it on Keyboard Live for a while, is it? Maybe we should.
There's a couple of people
that.
saying that the sound is slightly out of sync. We've got slight internet issues, and we've got fans running on the hub for the camera. Everything is burning hot. So I hope it doesn't spoil it. It's just a little bit out of our control. It may right itself in a little bit, but I can see the internet signal, whether it's to do with the weather, is a bit up and down today.
Well, I'll tell you what will solve that: me disappearing and you playing a video. So
so what we did, we knew it was going to be hot. So yesterday I just pre-recorded a little bit on the Ketron, and while that's playing, we'll get the Korg in place, and then we've got some more little treats for you as well. So yeah, we'll cut to this little bit on the Ketron, and I hope you find this interesting. So welcome to this little pre-recorded section. This is about Ketron EVM. Now, you might be looking at my PA5X and thinking, wow, that's had a modification. It's got a much bigger screen than mine. Look, what is sitting here is my iPad. And this little white block here, this is just to output the screen, and that output is what you're seeing in the bigger screen above the keyboard on the feed here. The reason I've laid this out on here is because people have said in the past, you know what, Paul, when you go to press a button on the screen, your finger disappears behind it. That's because that big screen you're seeing, it's not a camera filming that, otherwise you'd see my hand go into it. It is just a live feed. In the same way we can live feed the Korg screen, the Yamaha screen, and we always do, up in the corner, just so you can see it a bit clearer. But I've laid this here so you can actually see me do the finger pressing. I've done this in such a high-tech way. I've used blue tack underneath there just to hold that in place. So yeah, you know, all this technology, and we've resorted to a bit of blue tack, but hey ho. Yeah, look, EVM, Ketron. I know I go on about the Ketron a lot, but I always try and be honest and fair with people, and I pass my personal opinion on, and that's what this is. I think what Ketron have come up with here is one of the most innovative products to come along in our little world of keyboards and that for quite some time. Now, I'm using the EVM. This also applies to the Event X module, which is slightly bigger than the EVM, but it has all the buttons and controls on it rather than having to use the separate screen, and it has its own built-in screen. And obviously everything I'm going to talk about also applies to the Event keyboard series. The more I play with this product, the more I'm absolutely certain that this is the ideal add-on to any current flagship arranger or any slightly older instrument, be it a keyboard, an organ, digital piano. And why do I think it's the perfect partner? Well, look, let's be open and honest here. If you're looking for an expander to go on an arranger keyboard or an organ, the choice is Ketron. But look, I'm not talking about and recommending the Ketron because it's the only choice. I'm recommending it because actually it's an outstanding product. And the more I've used it, the more I realise, why is it that perfect partner? Well, because it brings a lot of things to the party that the Korgs and the Yamahas don't do in the same way as the Ketron does. Now, I've said in the same way because, let's be honest, I've said it many a time, that these modern instruments, they're getting so closely aligned now in terms of features and functions. And yes, the Ketron, it has sounds, you can mix sounds, it's got styles on it, etc. So you would think, well, I've already got all that. But no, look, first of all, you've seen us demonstrate enough the audio style capability. There is nothing else out there at the moment where you can play along with live musicians. And because it's live musicians, this might sound a silly statement, but it is the ultimate in live feel. It's not easy to put into words, but you can just, every little instrument, you are hearing the most amazing articulations and the most amazing little riffs and things like that. And why? Because they are real musicians. That's what we need to sort of understand. So that's one thing. We know about its amazing layering capability, the fact that, you know, right throughout the range, we can layer up to 6 sounds together. 6 orchestral sounds. We've still then got the drawbar section. And that's before you start adding anything on your existing instrument. So that's the first thing I just wanted to say today, is that the more I work with this, the more I realise that it's a great option. In fact, I think it's the best option. If you're out there and you have a Tyros, maybe the original Genos, or you have a PA4X, before you necessarily jump to the latest flagship of the range, either of the one you've already got, or if you've got a Yamaha, you might consider looking at a Korg now. I would make this a serious consideration, because you've got that familiarity with your existing keyboard, you've got all your existing setups, but you bring something amazing then to the party, and you just add an extra dimension to it. So what I wanted to talk about today, because we've covered a lot of things on here already, is the one-touch settings, because I know a lot of my customers use one-touch settings, and why wouldn't you want to? They're put in by professional players. There's the convenience that you just choose the style you want, and you know you've got those 4 settings there. Now on the Korg here, it's called style to keyboard set, and you have different modes of how that actually works. On Yamaha, it's called one-touch setting, and you have, again, different modes. So you can either have one-touch setting where you can mix and match, so you can choose whatever variation you want, but you choose the relevant or any of the one-touch settings. Or you can put OTS link on, and you can do the same with the Korg. So as you go through the rhythm variations, it automatically changes the sound. Can we do this on the Ketron? Yes, we can. And I want to show you how intuitive this is to actually set up your own one-touch settings. And effectively, you're setting up registrations for a song. Because once you've got 4 settings in, as we've discussed before, it's more than enough for most pieces of music. So how do we do it? I've chosen a style on the Ketron called Jazz Guitar Slow. I love the style. Yeah, that little jazz guitar riff there, it's beautiful. Okay, so that's what I've chosen. The first thing I want to do is slow that down a little bit because the piece I'm going to play is a little bit slower than that. So I've put that down to 76 there using the tempo control. I go back to my main screen. I jumped the gun a bit with the screen there. But on these blue row of buttons here, we have something called Voice to ABCD. That is Ketron's name for Style to Keyboard Set, or OTS, one touch setting. Voice to ABC. And once you press it, you can see the 4 sounds that have been associated with jazz guitar slow. But here's the important bit. Over on the left-hand side here, we have another button that says Voice to ABC. And you think, hang on, I've already pressed that. But this actually is now determining the way in which the Voice to ABC works. If that is off, i.e. it is blue, then basically I can choose whatever variation I want and choose whatever sound I want. So I've gone for variation A with the Harman muted trumpet. I could go to variation C. Go to variation A in the tenor sax. So you have that freedom at this point to mix and match whatever variation with whatever sound. If I now switch on the Voice to ABC, so it goes that burgundy red colour, now as I go through my variations, it will choose the relevant sound that has been associated with that variation. So here's a statement to make. I don't want those sounds. That's a bit contradictory because I said, why wouldn't you want to use them? But look, a set of 4 sounds set up by somebody else isn't going to work for every song that you play. A lot of that will work. I just want to make a few changes and personalise it for that little piece, Misty. I'm going to go along here and I'm going to say on A, yeah, it's showing classic grand. I actually know there's a soft grand piano in here, and I just think maybe for Misty that may be more appropriate. So how do we do it? You've seen us do this before. We just do the long push on the name of the sound there. I'm going to scroll through to page 3 because I know there is my soft grand, and if I exit, soft grand is now associated with variation A. It's not too dissimilar, but it's just took that bright edge off the piano. Do you know the other thing I might like to do is drop that down an octave because I want that real deep, rich piano sound. So I go to the octave button below, highlight it, and just put the down arrow. Nice. Good. So that's variation A sorted. I go to B. Do you know, there's nothing I don't like about that. You got that really smoky Harman muted trumpet. I like that. I'm going to go to variation C, and that calls up the lounge tenor. And I love that sound, but actually I think that should be down an octave as well. So I press the octave button directly under the name of the sound, the down arrow. And there we go, got that lovely smoky tenor sax sound. I'm going to go to variation D. Now it's given us a gospel organ. Great sound, but it's not what I want in Misty. So I do the long button push. I'm going to go into strings. And do you know what? I'm going to go a stage further. I actually don't want to use any of the factory strings. I want to use the ones where I've already layered the sound. So in other words, my user bank. So I go into my users and I can choose any of my string sounds from any of the pages that I've got there. I'm going to choose Cinema Strings. because that's the sound I want. So we exit from there. So now when we're on A, we've got the soft grand, down an octave. B, we'll bring in. So I've got my 4 sounds set up. Also from this screen, I can decide whether I want to do anything with the style. Well, there's a couple of things I would like to do. So I'm going to go to View and Modelling. You've seen us do this before, and that takes us into everything we need to know about the style. And on all the variations, there's a little piano. It's actually the soft grand again, which is just a little bit loud for me in the left hand. So I'm just going to drop the volume down to around 70. I will quickly do that. You could blanket do it across the board, but I'll just very quickly do it now. Just take them all down. There we go. It's only got to be approximate for now. You would probably take a little bit more care than I'm doing. There we go. That'll do. Okay, so we've done that. The other thing I wanted to do in variation D, where we're going to be using the strings, I'm going to go into the chord section. Now, we've already got a nice little jazz guitar, but I would like to add another guitar. So where the live guitar, it's blanked out at the minute, so we just tap there. And I'm after a swing, and we've started on page 1 of 22. Now, swing, S, is going to be towards the end of the alphabet. So you would think you've got to scroll through the pages, but this is another great little thing that Ketron have thought about. I can actually go backwards. So if I'd use the down arrow, it takes me to page 22. And I've only got to go back to page 20, and there we're already on SW for swing. And I'm going to choose this one, Swing Riff. Let's just solo it. Do you know, I don't know whether that's coming through on the feed, but you can hear every little string off and things like that. It's just, it is, well, it is real. We know it's real. But it really makes you want to play. So I'm going to press exit. So I'm pretty much set now. And if I look at my voice to ABC, I've got my sounds. I know I've got my style. So I'll start back on A. I just need to save this now as a user setting. We press save. It knows we're talking about a style. It's not just that little change we made to the style. Of course, it's the sounds that we've associated now in the one-touch settings or the voice to ABC to go with that style. I've already saved this, so it's probably going to tell me it already exists. But what you would do is save as, and you would get rid of the existing name there. And we'll give it the name of the song. Why not? We call it Misty. Enter. It politely tells me it's already there. If you're doing this for the first time, it would just save it. Do you wish to overwrite? Yes. So now in my user styles for swing, we've got Misty. Let's just go off onto another one for a second. Just to hear we've got different sounds. We go to Misty, and in A, we've got our nice rich piano, muted trumpet, sax. So we're now ready to play. And there you go. I just really wanted to share that with you, how easy it is, how flexible it is to actually set up your own registrations for songs, but using the voice to ABC feature. Hope you enjoyed that. And it's now back live to the studio with myself and Adam.
Thanks, Paul.
That's a pleasure.
Just a little bit on that. You can see there on the amazing graphics that you've done there, Paul.
Thank you.
A lot of comments in the chat about that. That they are currently out of stock. They are currently out of stock. They are on the way to us. We're expecting EVM and the EVM pack. Don't forget, which includes the free touchscreen and the soft padded gig bag. Back in stock, probably in roughly about 7 to 10 days.
Yep.
So there we go.
Yeah. I just need to put this. Oh, look
Look
at that.
at that. Perfect.
Yeah, I just needed to check that.
Will the EVM work with the CSP275? Yes, it will. It will work with anything with
Yep.
MIDI on it. Everyone should have an EVM because it will work without.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, got a couple of little videos to show you. The first one, you've heard us talk about this. I think on the last Keyboard Live, we'd been to Cheltenham.
Yes.
We've been off to Cheltenham. We've had Brett on as a guest, Brett Wales, and very kindly he sent us a little clip of the finale show.
The grand finale.
Yeah, from the Cheltenham Festival. Unfortunately, I'd gone home by then.
Yeah.
But we'd had flown over from Germany, from Holland rather.
Yeah.
Dirkjan Ranzijn, who came over and, as always, put on an amazing show. He's like the ultimate showman.
He is.
And very much, for many, many years now, associated with the Bohm product. So I think this only lasts a few minutes, but we just thought we'd give you a taster of the type of concert that you'd get if you went to one of these festivals, and a little bit of the stage setting as well. And hopefully I'm going to press the right button. I'm so nervous about this
If we
today.
don't melt. Honestly,
Yeah,
if the stream cuts out any minute, it's literally because it's too hot.
Yeah.
But
Ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, what a
How about
performance.
that? Ishkahoa Namia is the name of that song from the musical Elizabeth.
I thought you'd sneeze then.
I Only Belong to Me. This is a
there
great
you
track. I also play that one, just thought I'd throw that one in there as well.
Yeah.
It's a great song, a great performing on the amazing Bohm SE50, of course, available from Scan.
Yep.
Yeah, fabulous performance.
And what we're going to do, I'm going to just do a quick 10-minute thing on the Korg, which is a special request from somebody. And then we're going to show you a little preview video of somebody noticed the scratch on the side of the Bohm.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Can't see it in the right light.
Yeah. Then we're going to show you a little preview of Brett's next festival. They really are fantastic, and I hope that's given you a flavour of the fact this is a proper professional show. You've got the multi-screens at the back of the stage, you've got full lighting rig, an amazing sound system there, and beautiful hotels.
Yeah, fabulous.
As well.
Yeah,
But,
we had a great time. For those of you that joined us at Cheltenham, we had a great time, and long may that continue.
But we'll let Brett tell you a little bit more about that, including what he had for his dinner. He seemed to want to tell everybody about his dinner that he had. But yeah, great fun. Great fun. Okay, so I'm going to lose Adam just for a second.
Bye all. See you shortly.
And I'm just going to do this quite quickly. Somebody was talking about the Matrix, and basically it was in sort of. Sorry, let me just turn the microphone down. There we go. It was in combination with using the pads, because they said, yeah, I've got my 4 pads here. Is there any way I can store more pads? Well, yes, there is. But unfortunately, you can still only use 4 at a time. But you can now do it through the Matrix, because as the Korg PA5X has gone through a few updates, it's sort of secretly, I suppose, because they've never made a really big thing of it in the background, the Matrix has developed as well. So if we go to Matrix now, you've got the 4 Matrix buttons here. And you can actually now determine what each bank of Matrix buttons does there. And a lot of people can't work out how you change what the setting is. You have to expand this view here. So if you can still see the players at the top, you're not going to be able to do what I'm about to show you. So you need to press that little square with the arrow just there. So if I now go to 3, which says mute at the moment, and that allows me to mute parts. Now, I've done this purposely. Those 4 lights are flashing because actually they are currently muted. And if you look in my mixer at the style section, look, lo and behold, the last 4 are muted. So that's how you can see what's muted. And when you're actually playing live, to be able to press one of these bigger buttons up here is much easier than going into the mixer, which is inconvenient when you want to see the rest of the screen, and you've got to make sure your finger lands exactly where the M is there. So I find that really, really useful. But we'll go back to Matrix. Imagine I didn't want to use the Matrix buttons to mute things. Then we have a little pull-down menu, and I could say pad 3. So I selected I want it as pad 3, and I just tap that button number 3, and that now has got rid of the mute bit. Those parts are still muted in the mixer, but I haven't got access to it now via the Matrix. But now if you look, you've got the 16 squares here, and you've got 16 times 3, which you can fill with all of your favorite pads there. And again, the way you change it, you go to edit and you get rid of the pad that you don't want, and basically you just tap that empty space and you just put whatever pad you want, and that will load in there. Just make sure you switch edit off afterwards. And I'm going to show you how I use these pads in a second. But one of the other things I use it for is set lists. You can probably see current set list is Paul C. That is my set list. And basically now I've got my set list on the matrix buttons. It's just clear. I can see it nice and easily. If I wanted to load a different set, you just go to the set list and you choose whatever you want. So I'll go to famous names. There we go. And now on the matrix, I've got my set list of famous names there, and I can scroll through the pages and I can choose one and so on. So have a look at the matrix, because there's a lot of things you can do there, and there's a lot of things that it's really convenient. If you think about that 3 times 16 banks of pads, you probably have all the pads you're ever going to need on the matrix buttons, and then you don't have to keep going into the screen. Doesn't matter what you're on, you can just, right, I know number 2, button 10 is the pad I need for this particular song, or whatever. So I just find that really, really useful to be able to do that. And it's things that the matrix couldn't do from the word go, but it's now appeared in there as well. I go on about pads a lot, and I go on about how I think they're underused. I've just shown you the little video on the Ketron, and without a shadow of a doubt, the Ketron is great for editing styles, because everybody can do it. But not everybody wants to go into a style editor on the Yamaha and the Korg, and there's always this fear, am I going to lose something? And to be honest, unless you're going to reprogram a part, what you can do on here and what you can do on the Genos, you can change the sound, but you can't change the groove unless you program it. And that's the beauty of the Ketron, is that you can actually pick a totally different groove to go in that particular slot. But that's why I use pads a lot, to either complement a style or to actually make a brand new style up. So what I did, I picked a style called Modern Begin. And as you saw in the mixer, what I've actually done, I've kept the bass, the drums, and accompaniment 1. I've actually muted accompaniment 2 through to accompaniment 5. So if I now play the style, let's put the lower on. Okay, not particularly exciting. And when we go to other variations, yeah, the drums have built up, the bass has built up, but we're basically only running with one other accompaniment part, so it's not going to sound very exciting. But why have I muted those parts? Because I want to actually make use of the pads here. So what I've done is I've preloaded in pad 1, I've put steel guitar strum 4. Nice. Now, if we put that in with the style, now we're starting to get something really nice. Okay. We've actually, without realising it, we've created a brand new style. And, you know, you can save that as a songbook entry. It will remember the pads. It will remember the mutes in the style. But let's go a stage further. I might want some nice string harmony to come in. So I've put strings in pad 2. And I just found that in the factory section. I went to orchestral and I chose strings 1. And we got that. So now let's put it all together. Okay. My aim for this was to play a Drifters song. Now, the Drifters had a very unique bit of percussion that they used on lots and lots of songs. I think the proper word for it is a gyro. It's a ridged piece of wood that they run a stick down. Just have a listen to my attempt at programming this Drifters percussion as a pad. think of songs like Under the Boardwalk, Up on the Roof, those sort of songs. Let's put the rest of the pattern in, bring the style in. And so on. So we've actually made a new style up. Yes, I did one bit of programming there just to put that specific drifters percussion, but I'm sure you could have found, some tambourines, shakers, things like that would have worked very, very well with it. I took it a stage further. I thought, what else can I put in? So I put a little brass riff in number 4. And it's just that little rise on the brass. It's that little swell. Let's put it all together. Okay, don't need to do the whole thing, but this is where pads, both on the Yamaha and the Korg, actually enable you in a funny sort of way to just create new styles for yourself. Have a lot of fun with them, because all a pad is a phrase out of a style. That's all it is. So experiment. Have a little bit of fun with it. So Adam's disappeared on me at the moment. No, he's on his way back in. So look, we hope you've enjoyed today's show. We're not quite finished. We've got about 5 or 10 minutes to go yet. But we hope you've enjoyed the show. There has been some great comments today. We've tried to work hard on bringing you more the feel of a TV type show, which is what we intended to do in the first place. So hope you like the graphics and that we're working with. Couple of things before we finish. The first thing is to talk about Brett's festival. Here we go. Adam's on his way back in.
Back. Just before we carry on.
Yeah.
Do you ever use the expansion packs which come with Yamaha keyboards? Great suggestion. Maybe we should. The problem's always been is because when you buy a Yamaha keyboard, enable you to get those packs, you have to register the product.
Yes.
But we can't necessarily do that because we have to sell the product. That's always been the issue. But maybe we should try and do it.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah. And I mean, we have people watching all around the world. A lot of these expansion packs are sort of world packs as well.
Great.
So yeah. So that's brilliant. Okay, so we've got this little preview to show you of Brett. This came hot off the press about 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, and thanks to Brett for doing this. I noticed Brett in the chat there. So thanks very much for tuning in and supporting us like you always do.
So you're about to get some information about an upcoming festival at Huntingdon. If you've never been to a festival, I urge you.
Yeah, please come.
They're amazing. Please come.
Have so much fun.
You will have a great time. And the thing about Brett and his team is this might sound a bit contradictory, it's not all about the keyboards. They have great fun with people.
Yeah,
they look after people incredibly well. As hosts, they do a tremendous job. And the environment you will be in, I can guarantee you, it'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely beautiful. So you are about to learn all about this festival at Huntingdon. Unfortunately, I didn't have chance to do a QR code for this in time by the time I got the video. But I'll check while the video's on. I think it's Brett Wales Music Festivals or Brett Wales.
It'll be in the video, no doubt.
Yeah. And maybe if Brett is watching, he'd like to just put the email address where they can actually contact him. But we'll leave you for the next few minutes in the company of Brett Wales.
Hi, I'm Brett Wales, and I'd like to invite you to join me at the Brett Wales Music Festival here at the Huntingdon Marriott Hotel.
This October, experience one of the UK's premier organ and keyboard events. Join us at the 4-star Marriott Hotel Huntingdon for the spectacular Brett Wales Music Festival 2026. 3 unforgettable nights, world-class entertainment, international artists, an atmosphere like no other. Your host, Brett Wales, welcomes an outstanding lineup of stars from across the globe. Making his first ever UK appearance from the USA, the sensational David Mayoko as the legendary Liberace. From Germany, Christian Langvard performs on the incredible Verzi OAX. David Harold returns to Huntingdon with his Yamaha TRX system, while Chris Stanbury makes his festival debut on Yamaha Stagia. Verzi artiste Ben Scott Hyde appears throughout the weekend in concert, including a spectacular welcome performance alongside your host and Verzi legend, Brett Wales. Also appearing across the festival weekend, from Scan Pro Audio, Adam Whittle, Paul Carmen, and from Germany, Burr Morgan's Klaus Rieper, with stunning concert production, 5 giant projection screens, live demonstrations, exhibitors, and a friendly team dedicated to making your weekend unforgettable. This is more than an organ festival. It's a celebration of music, performance, and world-class entertainment.
So the late night bar's a little bit different to a concert, more laid back, an opportunity for guests to sit, chat, have a drink, have a dance, have a sing, and enjoy some music leisurely instead of the formal concert situation. We've had some great artists play for us. Late night bars, we have Claudia Hirschfeld, Franz Lambert, Pete Shaw, of course Ben, myself. It's a good time.
Your package includes 3 nights dinner, bed and breakfast.
So our guests every night get to pre-order their food, and then you're given your own personalised menu, and it tells you everything so you don't forget. And that's the most important, you don't forget what you've ordered, and you get to eat what you want. Tonight I've chosen creamed mushrooms, I've chosen the slow roast beef with gravy, and a fresh fruit tart. Nice.
Please visit our website for more information. The Brett Wales Music Festival, 9th to the 12th of October 2026. Book now at brettwalesmusicfestivals.com.
There you go.
There we go. Roast beef with gravy. I'm hungry now.
Arizona Broadband, this is a blockbuster organ festival. Yes, it is. And do you know what? We do have international visitors. So
Yeah.
book your plane ticket.
Yeah,
Come see us.
and Adam's managed to put it up. Apologies to Brett that I didn't have time to get the QR code done. But it's brettwalesmusicfestivals.com. Get yourself there. You will have a fantastic time.
Yeah, just a question there. I have a PA5X and loaded the Artist Edition expansion pack. The sounds are great, but I noticed that with some of the styles, after ending them, the lower sound keeps singing out. Problem? Thoughts? What I would suggest you do is contact Timur, who
Yes.
you bought that from. He's very, very helpful, and he'll be able to help you with your issue.
Yep. And that's it. That's it for today.
We've got a little. Have we not got a little video?
Oh, yes, of course we have. Yeah.
He'll
Sorry.
sat there for an hour and a half watching.
Sorry, yes, Mike.
Mike.
We just want to show you this as a sample of what we encourage you to do. Now, obviously, if we had 100 videos sent in, we can't show them all. I have to put that little disclaimer on to start with. But over a period of shows, we'll pick some out and we'll play, if not the full performance, some little sort of montage clips
I think it'd be great.
customers'
See
performances.
what you're up to, see what you're doing, and he uses a Ketron event. He also midis it to an old KN 7000, if you remember those. So you can. He's got a little. He just sent it through and said any chance, and I said, well, why not? Why not?
So we thought we'd do that, and if anybody's watching that's on my teaching course tomorrow, we got part 2. I look forward to welcoming you on that. And that's been great for me because this week I've had people actually send me things that they learnt last Friday. And that makes it all worthwhile.
Indeed.
So, yeah, we'll do this, then we'll come back to say goodbye. So we'll take it from here.
So if you think you can do as good as that Mike has done there with his production.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the...
So we can sell some more pianos.
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
It's absolutely fine. But yeah, thank you so much, Mike, for sending that in. Please feel free, get in touch with myself or Paul. You can contact me at adam.whittle@scan.co.uk. That's adam.whittle, W-H-I-T-T-L-E, @scan.co.uk. And we'll slot them in.
Yeah.
And one thing that another reason why I wanted to highlight that particular video is he said to me it's the first time ever he's had a go at making his own style using the tips that we've shown him on Keyboard Live, of course, and the videos that we've done.
Brilliant.
So there you go.
Well, look, it's been an absolute pleasure to be back with you again. As I said, hope you've enjoyed yourselves this afternoon. Hope you found it of interest and there's been a few pearls of wisdom in there for you. Don't forget the special offers at Scan. And we look forward to seeing you very, very soon on the next Keyboard Live. So from myself, Paul, bye for now.
And from me, Adam, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye now.